I'm so excited about this episode today because I feel like so many of us were not really taught on how to handle money. We answer questions like, how do we actually grow our money? What if we want to make more money? What advice can we get on investing? Today, I'm speaking to a registered financial planner. She's helped countless of women get out of debt, start investing, and actually feel confident with their money. Please welcome financial coach and founder of Simply Finance, Mariel Bitanga Kintanar.
Hi, Kylie.
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for doing this, Mariel.
Of course.
Fun fact, Mariel and I were batchmates during college in Ateneo.
Yes.
And I would see her. She would be this like beautiful
Wow.
girl, always in the JSEC with like a cool bunch of people. Diba? Aminin.
Yeah, dun lang naman tayo before.
But Mariel, thank you so much for doing this for me. I'm really excited because I feel like we're not really taught how to handle our finances and money, even when we're at school. And even maybe even like in families, we're not even taught this. What got you into becoming a financial advisor?
Okay, so it stemmed from actually, I grew up really comfortably. But then in college, around that time, I was in Ateneo. My family went through like, talagang we lost a lot of money. Our lives really really shifted from like a complete 180. And I don't know, my first instinct then was, hey, I want to work. I want to earn my own money while we were still in school. Because I don't know, that sense of security and seeing my parents struggle really traumatized me. And I still think I have that trauma until now. So I started working while studying, and then after graduating, I realized I was just hustling, like taking on rackets, side hustles, and then went into corporate. And then I realized that, hey, I need to like learn how to manage this, right? I'm handling my own money, I'm living alone. So that's how it started. I met a financial advisor, and then she helped me out. And then I thought to myself, hey, I want to join her team as another racket because I had so many rackets. And then eventually I realized how meaningful the work was. So I took it seriously, and then I started with my friends, and then from friends I met other clients, and then yeah, that's how it kind of started for me.
Okay. I mean, what got you, aside from it being another racket for you, what made you passionate about wanting to help women on their finances?
Right. Well, because women, number one, I think like before, back in the day, maybe our lolo and lola's times, no? Parang women were expected to stay at home and care for the family, which is still very much a reality today. But at the same time, beyond that role, we're also actually expected to also help out with the finances, be even breadwinners,
Yeah, exactly.
while still caring for the family. So we carry a lot of responsibility. So that's why I wanted to focus on women to help them, I guess, navigate this. But also because finance is still a very male-dominated space.
That's so true.
If you look at the executives of like our top banks, they're mostly men, and women are sometimes looked down on when it comes to this field, right? So I also kind of just wanted to create a space where women can ask basic questions, learn, the basics, be kind of just empowered, even just by learning something new today, to take action and make sure that it's simple. Because when you go to like other parang mga websites or whatever, sometimes it gets too intimidating.
Yeah.
So I wanted a space where it was just easy to learn, easy to understand.
How important is it for most especially women to handle our own finances?
So important. It's very important because I see situations where women never handle their money at home, and then let's say the husband suddenly like dies or something. They
Yeah.
don't know where the finances are, where the investments are. They're just left with taking care of the family and then not knowing how to handle the money. So it's important that even though you have a safety net, you still should know how your money moves at home, so that at least if something happens, then you're fully capable of handling your money. So yeah, never rely on another person, whether it's your spouse or a family member, to handle your money. You should know what's going on.
That's so true. I mean, nothing wrong with, let's say, relying on
Yeah.
another person, but it's so important, I believe, to know also how to handle the money that you have on your own.
Yes, exactly.
I just want to ask you, what problem do you think most people are struggling with financially right now?
A lot. Um, I think, well, I see this a lot. And even me, I was, it happens to me also. Lifestyle creep, I think, happens a lot
Can you
among
explain to me what
Filipinos.
is this lifestyle creep? Is it because we want to show people that we're wealthy, or like we're wealthier than we are, and we kind of have to like the need to prove to others that we are something?
That is like one factor or one side of it, but
Mm-hmm.
it could also be as simple as, oh, I got a pay raise, or I don't earn
Oh.
minimum wage anymore, so my standard of living increases a little bit. And that's fine. Totally, like, we're working every day to provide for ourselves, right? And we want better things in life. But then sometimes when it's just a lot of like everything, like all your standards, all your expenses are going up, next thing you know, you can't keep up anymore, and it's derailing you from saving, from investing. So for me, lifestyle creep is okay, but still be balanced about it. Like, make
Okay.
sure that not naman everything is like, not everything increases in like your expenses, but make sure like to always set aside pa rin for your savings and investments. And yeah, I see it a lot, especially like the Philippines has a lot
Can
of
you give
middle
me an
class.
example of a lifestyle creep? Is it, for example, my kids' tuitions are coming up, but also at the same time I have bills to pay? Is it that kind of expense?
For example, like you were living in a, an okay apartment, perfect for your budget, but then since you got a pay raise, you're thinking, oh, I want to move like to a different
Okay.
um neighborhood, and that's okay. But like, let's say, what if your new rent is like now 60% of your take home pay? Parang paano naman your other needs? So sometimes we push ourselves too much. So just keep it at a minimum. I feel it, I see it happening. It also happens to me, so sometimes I have to like pull back a little bit, like,
Okay.
wait, that's too much, still like be kind of mindful.
Okay, so before we get into the specifics, what do you think is the biggest myth people believe about building wealth?
Biggest myth is, well, I guess a lot of people feel that you only are worthy of saving and investing if you're already earning a lot or if you're already rich. So they kind of delay that until they feel they're ready or they're worthy or their income is enough. But really, there's no perfect time. The more you delay, the more you lose out on, opportunity for growth. So even just, a few hundred pesos, just start already rather than delaying and delaying for the perfect time.
Do you suggest that? Do you suggest we save a little bit to what? Save up for retirement? Or is that even true?
Yeah, I think definitely the first thing that, especially like if you're like a young adult starting out, first job, the first thing you should really save up for is your emergency fund, which
Okay.
should be like 3 to 6 months worth of your basic expenses, right? So I think that's the first thing you should save up for before even thinking about like retirement and
Why
all
do
of
we
that.
need to save up for our emergency fund? Like, how is it? I don't even think I have an emergency
I'm
fund.
sure you
Like,
do. Maybe you
yeah,
just
like
haven't like
maybe.
labeled it as such.
Okay, I want to get into like, sige, for example, let's say I earn 50K a month.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I put this 50K pesos? Like, is there a right way to budget? And do you have like, this is the right way to budget your finances? Do you allocate it to expenses first? What about, do I treat myself first? Do I don't know, like, pay the taxes or something. Like, how do I allocate? Sige, let's say 100K.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Which is better, 50K or 100K?
Any.
Parang 50, which is
But like
bad
going
at,
back
so
to,
bad at math.
But
guys.
going back to your first question about an emergency fund, why it's important is, for example, a person loses her job and she's living alone, she has bills to pay. So she needs like a buffer time, like at least 3 months worth to at least still pay for her food, her electricity, her rent, while she's looking for a new job. So it's important to kind of like just have that ready in case something happens. Now, your second question, how to budget, really depends on the person. So there's this rule called the 50-30-20 rule. So it's not, so it could just be a starting point. People don't really have to follow the exact numbers. You could adjust. So for example, 50% of that, 100K, could go to your living expenses. So these are your food, your home, electricity, all of the things you need to survive, basically. And then 30% are your wants. So these are your shopping, travel, eating out, and then 20% savings and investments. But then for some people, maybe they still live with their parents, so they don't really have a lot of like bills to pay. So they could lower the needs and then put more into wants or savings and investments. So you could adjust it. But I think if you don't have a budget yet, that's a good place to start.
Okay, so it's this 50-30-20 rule where 50 goes to your living expenses first, and then the 30 goes to your
fun wants,
and then the 20 goes to your
savings and investments.
Savings. Why do we need to save? And what is your advice to people who have a hard time saving?
Why do we need to save? Because, well, we can't work forever, physically, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like trying to biohack and live longer. Sure.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yes, and I believe in that. But also, we're not gonna live forever also. So we need like buffers in case, life happens, emergencies happen. And also like for fun things. Let's say you have a Euro trip next year.
So for travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like basically everything that you're planning for, whether it's like needs or wants, you could save up for. And what was the other question?
Why
is it so hard to
yeah,
save?
why how come to someone who has a hard time saving, like what would you advise them?
I always advise the pay yourself first method. So for those people that don't like listing down all their expenses, who have no time for that, what you could do is you just adjust a certain amount per month. Let's say from that 100,000, you promise yourself, okay, 20,000 of that every month goes to my savings or investment. So the first thing that you do when that 100K comes in, you set aside that 20K first before all your other expenses so that it's done, it's locked in, and then you could just have fun with your life. So if you're having a hard time, do that. Like make that the first thing you do before anything else. Because usually what happens, people save what's left over. And
Yeah.
usually wala nang left over. So do it first.
Okay. So something like make yourself happy first, and then once you're happy, and then you can allot the rest to the other necessary things.
Yeah, just make sure that 20% for your savings is first before anything.
Okay.
Even before your Meralco bill.
Why do you think so many of us are still living paycheck to paycheck, but despite earning more than previous generations, but many of us still feel financially stuck?
I think because the one I said earlier, like the lifestyle creep, as your income increases, your quality and your standards of living increase also. So of course your expenses
Is it also
are
because
higher.
of inflation and everything?
Yeah, could be also, but then inflation, I mean, if you think about it, it's only really less than 5% or whatever per year. So it's really like the small decisions that we do on a day-to-day basis. Not really the splurges eh. Well, unless you're like a huge splurger talaga all the time. But it's like the small daily, like, oh, online shopping, I'm gonna treat myself to whatever today. At the moment, it feels like a small thing, but then if you really like zoom out and really compute every small thing you did for the month, it really adds up also. Do you ever get that feeling? Like sometimes you look at your credit card bill and it's like, no, this could be a lie. Like I want to call the
Yeah.
bank. But then if you like look at it one by one, oh, okay. It's
I
correct
always
pala.
have that. I'm like, someone used my card.
Yeah,
And then I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's me.
Right? It
And then
adds
I'm like,
up.
this is not my, oh, it's me.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's so true. It adds up. But what, how do we keep track? How do I tell myself this is not for me, or this is, I don't even know if it's bad, because I'm just like allowing myself to treat myself. And what can you advise?
It's really discipline, and it's hard. It's like it's not easy to be, disciplined. But I think one thing is kind of avoid temptation. If you feel you have a certain problem in a certain area, let's say a certain website, a certain app that you always buy from, maybe delete it first. Or I have friends who love to shop, and they always like send me all these stuff they want to buy. Sometimes I tell them like I'm in a phase where I don't want to buy anything, so stop sending me bags or shoes that you want to buy, because I get tempted. So if there are people that you feel like encourage you to spend more than you should, kind of be honest with them or avoid them. Just avoid temptation also.
That's so true. Like on my Instagram, because it also depends on your algorithm, what your algorithm is showing you. And the algorithm is based on what you like. So I have like, let's say, two accounts. One is my main account, and it likes fashion. It likes it's couture week now. So it likes the bags and the shoes. But I also have, let's say, my mental health account, or the almost honest account. And it's more of like quotes and feel good stuff. And honestly, when I'm on let's say, the podcast account or the mental health matters, I feel so good. I'm like, life is
Yes.
good, amazing.
Yeah.
And then I go to my own account. I'm like, I want this, I want
Yeah.
that. Oh my God, why? I want to travel, And it's so true. It really affects you.
Yeah. So it's also social media. I talked to another person, and she mentioned that you should also do like a social media detox if you're
That is
like,
true. I believe in it.
yeah, like if certain things make you do things that you're not happy about, then maybe unfollow those accounts, or yeah, just really avoid temptation.
Do you think money problems are more of a behavior problem? Do you think money problems are more about behavior or a lack of information?
I think we don't have confidence, I guess, in handling our money when we feel that we don't have enough information about certain things. So when we're not confident because we lack information or we lack education about a certain thing like money, then it affects like our actions. So a lot of like clients, for example, come to me and I'm like, okay, so what's your problem? And they're just like, I'm just not good with money. And I'm like, okay, but what do you mean by that, diba? So sometimes women or people just kind of tell themselves these stories that I'm not good with money or I'm just bad with numbers. So they keep telling that to themselves. So now their actions reflect that. Like they become bad because they believe it. So I always remind my clients that it's not something you're born with. It's not a personality trait. It's a skill, or it's something that you can learn. But if you keep telling yourself that you're bad at it, then it's going to be very hard to kind of change that narrative for yourself. So yes, it's a behavioral thing, and it's also connected to not knowing enough about it. So I think both play naman like a certain role.
I totally get it. I mean, we live in a third world country, and many of us do not grow up with, like, let's say, an abundance mindset. And I feel like this is so important growing up, or with, the programming we have in our head. It's because it also affects the way we see money. Can you explain to us why having this a good mindset or a good relationship with money is so important to building wealth.
Right. I always say, like, with money, you kind of have to be a bit delusional.
I love that.
Like really delusional that you can handle your money, you can be rich, you can reach that whatever that is for yourself, because it really like affects how you act kasi when you're confident, and even if it comes from like delusional confidence, when you're confident, you make smarter decisions, you show up better, even at work you perform better because you have this sense of confidence, right, that you've kind of deluded yourself into. So it makes you have better, I guess, decisions, money decisions. You're more confident in like getting into these investments or talking to people. It's so important to kind of just make sure that, yeah, you have a healthy, abundant mindset even before the money comes in, because you embody that.
So how do I do that? Like what do I tell myself? Is it like affirmations? Do I tell myself I am good with money? But what if I don't know how to handle money? Like, do I just like delusion myself all the way in a I'm good with money, I am rich? Do these rich affirmations really work? I mean, I see someone like you
I do them
I actually
also.
like them.
Sometimes when I'm like brushing my teeth or I'm in the bathroom, I
rich.
play.
Oh,
Yeah.
like money loves me.
Yeah.
Wealth attracts me. I don't know.
Um,
Actually, I think it works.
It works. It
Right?
works. But then also, like, okay, maybe for like, it could also be certain things. Like I always say, with your circle, for example, you should be very deliberate about who you surround yourself with. Because let's say you keep surrounding yourself with people who are bad with money, or who are lazy, or who don't have good work ethic. Even though you're not like that, if you spend majority of your time with them, you kind of get hawa. I don't know the English word. You kind of get whatever.
Yeah, you adapt the traits of like the people closest to
Yes,
you.
yes. And then if you want to level up with your money, with your career, then you should also surround yourself with people that you actually look up to, or people that you wouldn't mind trading your lives
Okay.
with. Once you're surrounded with that, parang you're, I guess, more programmed to kind of act a certain way and, be better with your money. And also, another thing is I always tell my clients to be organized with your everything. Because like, imagine if your bank accounts are all jumbled, or you literally throw receipts in your wallet, so the flow, it's kind of like feng shui also.
Okay.
The flow of money gets blocked. So make sure that your surroundings are clean, your bank accounts, your investments are all in one place, your wallets are clean, so that the flow of money also gets to, the flow of money is good. So even like certain feng shui hacks or stuff like that are also actually mindset hacks that you could use to improve money in your life.
I like the fact that you say the start to, let's say, organizing your financial life is a lot about mindset and organization and how you think of money. And can you explain to us again why it's so important to surround ourselves with people who are financially abundant?
Yes, because when we're surrounded by them, we kind of adapt also to, how they think. And also we learn a lot from them, because that saying, when you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly.
So it works exactly like that also with the money. So I tell, like, let's say my clients who are in corporate, I always ask them, do you like your boss? If do you want your boss's life? Because if not, if you wouldn't want to trade, lives with your boss, then that means, why are you even there? Because you don't even want your boss's life. So it's like, why are you working so hard in a place where you don't want to even be the person that's
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, just make sure you're deliberate with who you surround yourself with.
I heard that advice when my friend came to me. We were like at a Christmas party, and she was like, "I'm not happy with my job," and she was like, "It's because of my boss," and she didn't even like her boss. But hearing advice from you, like, it makes sense. The people I want to surround myself with are the people who align with the lifestyle I
Yeah,
want,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. Like, I remember, oh, never mind. But then I just remember I cut
Go.
off a person. Like, after college, I cut off a person in my life. And after that, I don't know, I got a higher paying job. Like, money was easier for me. So I was like, wow, like, just cutting off like one toxic person could do wonders.
Yeah.
So think about that. That's why, especially, I saw your episode with Coach V. So
Oh,
the person that you marry actually has the greatest impact
yes.
on your finances. And I 100% believe, because you're sharing a bed with that person. And it's like, you want to make sure you both bring each other up.
That is so true. I mean, because I experience it, let's say, with my partner now, like, to me, like, the world is so big. But comparing it to my previous relationships, like, I didn't realize that the world could be so much bigger.
Yeah,
So, like,
exactly.
it affected the way I thought about money. I thought about, let's say, mindset. I thought about business. Because before I thought really, really small. So, yeah.
Exactly. So it's so important. So for the single ladies who are listening, assess your partners before you commit.
We're not saying that they have to be like
No,
ultra
no, no.
rich, but like, how
Just
is their
have the,
mindset
yeah.
on money?
Yeah.
Interesting. You talked about, let's say, okay, let's say I go to you and like, Mariel, I don't think I'm good with money. I have a little bit of savings, but I wanna get rich. And let's say my salary is 100K a month. What would you first advise me?
The first thing I'll ask you to do is you have to be honest, almost honest with your money.
Almost honest.
Yes. You really have to. I ask my clients to do like an exercise where they have to write down everything from all their income, all their expenses, which is usually the hardest for them to do because majority don't track. All their liabilities, if they have any liabilities, all their assets, like literally like put it on a spreadsheet. We'll go through it together and be very clear with what you want to do. Like write down maybe 3 of your top financial goals so that at least when everything's laid out, they can, their numbers can't lie to them, right? It's like
Yeah.
even before us getting into like the coaching session, when once they do that exercise, it's already a bit obvious what they need to do better, what they should start doing or stop doing. So be real with yourself first before anything, before taking any action.
Okay, so once we have the list of, let's say, my expenses, and then I say, you know what, let's say what's a good goal? What is a good goal? What are your clients' usual goals?
Saving up for a wedding, doing like
Okay, let's say I want to save up for a wedding and I want to
Okay.
buy a house.
Okay. So what I'm gonna ask you to do is you tell me like how much is this house you wanna buy? How much is this wedding? How much of that will be coming from you or from your partner? And what's the other one? Oh, basta, another goal. Basically, what I'll ask you to do or my client is like put a price and a timeline on those goals. And then from there, we'll like, let's say, okay, my house is 10 million and then I want to have it in 5 years. So from there, we can like work backwards. We'll work backwards and I'll show you like, okay, this is what it would take for you to get that house. But now, okay, we have that, the first equation. The second equation is we go back to your today and see how much of your income can actually be put towards this goal. So we kind of allocate, oh, okay, you have an extra 50K a month.
Okay.
It goes to your wedding fund, mga ganyan. So that's kind of how we merge your today to your goals. Something like that. So the process is something like that.
Okay. I get it. Like, honestly, I'm not the best at money, but I also don't think I'm super, super magastos. I mean, I try to live within or
Yeah.
below my means. But it's nice to see, okay, what is the maximum I can spend for this? Like,
Yeah.
what if I want to treat myself? What if I want to have a girls' trip? What if I
Yeah.
want to have dinner with my friends? What if, I don't know, I want to do my hair and my nails and makeup or
Yeah.
something? So that all has to go into the sheet.
Yeah. So like for those types of expenses, I have this fund that I just made up, but I tell my clients also about it. It's like my what do you call it? Revolving fund, because it's like it's a fund that I will just keep spending for random things like, getting my hair done,
Like
or
these small
a
TikTok
random
and
girls trip.
Shopee
Yeah, or that TikTok.
expenses.
Yeah. So
those kill me, by the way. Like
yeah.
I'm at night and then I'm like ding ding.
No, and it's so
ding.
fast.
Yeah, and the next day is there now, and then you're
It's
like,
so
oh my god, what is
fast.
this expense?
Exactly. So that fund I just always replenish, because you're always gonna touch it anyway. So there's a budget for that. So at least you don't feel deprived and not, do all those fun things.
So basically, you're saying everything has to have a budget. Like,
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah, I'm so bad at this. Mariel, help me.
But if you really don't want a budget, then just pay yourself first. Just set a set amount per month. Pay yourself first, and everything else you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay, what about the freelancers or the
Mm.
people who don't have a stable amount of income every month?
Right.
Let's say I would say business owners
Yeah.
or people in the entertainment industry or showbiz. It's very unstable and it's also very unreliable. How would you advise us on handling our
Yeah.
money?
So I think for the ones that have variable income, know you're like how much do you need to survive, basically, like on a monthly basis. So let's say for a content creator that maybe, brands pay late, these things happen.
Yeah.
They can't, it's hard to budget, right? So know, I guess, what that number is. Like, okay, on a minimum, I need 50,000 pesos just to survive. So that person should aim to at least have it goes back to your emergency fund. Just have that buffer account of 3 to 6 months saved up, so that at least if like brands pay you late or clients pay you late, at least you always have like a 3 to 6 month buffer to survive until you get paid. So always just have that. So in the beginning, while you're building it, you have to really like, make sure you build that. If you have to hustle or if you have to make ends meet to get to that saving point, but afterwards, at least you're more at ease, even if like your clients pay you late or something like that.
Okay. What does being financially free mean to you?
To me, it means that you can make your own choices. Like the choices you made are your own. Like it was your own doing. No one told you to do that. It's like basically just you're living life on your terms, basically. So for me, it doesn't necessarily mean like you've retired already or whatnot. It could mean that for other people. But for me, it's just living life on your own terms, and that no one is making you gulo. Like you're free.
Does it also mean, let's say, I get to do the things I want to do on my own terms and my own time?
Yes.
Okay, does it mean like you're your own boss in your own time and I don't have to work a 9 to 5? Is that what it means?
Not necessarily. So I think that's a lot of Filipinos have that misconception also, that to be free or to be financially abundant, you have to be a business owner. Which, of course, if you want to be like filthy rich, go business talaga, right? But just to be financially independent, for example, and live a stable life, to many, that's the goal. So sometimes staying in corporate is still completely fine, because I see a lot of people in corporate that really built great lives for themselves, and that they're free in a sense where all their needs are met, their children are okay, their retirement is ready. So that could also mean freedom or independence. So it really depends per person.
What is a lot of handling money about is a lot about handling money wanting to get more money, or is it more about budgeting? Is it more about saving? Is it more about mindset? What do you think it is?
I think if I'm answering your question correctly, I think a lot of it stems from the fact that we just want to feel secure or
Okay.
have peace of mind.
Yeah.
So
And like define what that means for you.
just like you know you're okay and that you're like not your nervous system is
Yeah.
okay and like you're just at peace, because to some that might mean okay, I need to earn more. For some that could mean I need to save more. So it could really mean different things, but I think at the end of the day I think all of us just really want to feel secure and have peace of mind, right? Sometimes it's not even about the amount of money, but we just want to be at peace with money. I think that's my experience with also with my clients, because like I was talking to some people that have reached their retirement money or whatever, and I'm like, okay, so what are you gonna do? Like, what's next? And they're always like, you know what? Even when you reach your money goal, your business goal, whatever, it's never gonna be enough. So it gets to a point though that we can't anchor um our goals on money anymore or like career. It has to be something else because it's never gonna be enough. So I'm like, what? It's never gonna be enough.
Oh my.
But you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's once
Okay.
yeah.
How much money do you need to retire?
It really depends on what type
Yeah?
of retirement you want. We need an Excel for that. But we could compute depending on like when you want to retire, how much would you need to survive on a monthly basis. Let's say okay, when do you want to retire?
Oh my, that is a good question. When do I want to, I don't want to be working at like 50.
Yeah, so something like that. So with my clients, I ask them how much they would like. Let's say as a retired Kylie, how much monthly expenses are you happy with? And how much time we have from now till your age
I'm
of
so
retirement.
nervous because I feel like
Yeah.
it's just
And when you're
high.
gonna die. We
Like,
also need to talk about that.
what is the average age that people are gonna die now?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, if your grandparents are still alive, you kind of base on their lifespan also. So all those factors will tell you like, okay, so this is how much you need now so that you could retire then at that lifestyle. So yeah, it's just on Excel, but you need to know like
Okay.
what lifestyle you want.
What is one uncomfortable truth about money that people avoid?
That no one's gonna save you but yourself.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, because like not your family. You like obviously like there are families that can save you or partners that can save
Actually,
you.
sometimes it's the family that drains the money.
Exactly.
Especially here in the Philippines.
Yes, but I think I don't know if it's a healthy way, but this is my belief that just believe that you only have yourself when it comes to money, so that at least there are no expectations, and you can just do whatever. Yeah.
Why do we also avoid the topic on money? Like, why do you think, like, because let's say when I grew up, I was always taught we should never talk about
Yeah.
money. And is this the same for you? Like, we don't talk about money, we don't talk about salary, we don't talk about, but traveling the world, and let's say I was meeting these like influencers, and they were so open about their salary or how much they earn or they get, and to them it's because if we're open about how much we're getting, then you can get the same amount from these
Right.
people too. So the whole industry goes up. So parang hindi nagtatago na parang, bakit ako, ito lang yung nakuha ko,
Right.
bakit ikaw?
Yeah.
So like, if we're all transparent, then, I mean, we can all ask for the same amount of...
I think because as a culture we're kind of like we just want to keep the peace. Like we don't like conflict. I think Pinoys are very like, okay, I just want to be like harmonious with everyone, and sometimes money can trigger like shame or
Yeah.
inggit or fear. I don't know. So I feel like Filipinos would rather keep it in.
That is true. It is a very touchy topic.
Yeah.
And like
Unlike Americans, right, or like other cultures, like they really put out like even with job openings on LinkedIn, for example, Western companies would put like the salary range of the job posting, but like for like Philippine companies, they don't put it out there. It's like, how come we don't even have transparency with those things? But I think it's a very cultural thing that we don't want to discuss it.
I get it. Do you think the more we talk about money, the more it'll come to us?
I think so, but talk to like again, talk to the right people.
That is true.
Because like if you talk to a bunch of chismosas,
That is
you know
so
what I mean?
true.
And si Kylie
Mainggit
ganyan
lang
pala.
sila.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my
ganyan
God,
pala
ito pala yung
talent
nakuha
fee
niya.
sa endorsement
Diba?
niya. So,
Ganito lang pala. Or, oh my God, mahal naman.
be careful lang then. Talk with like the right if you want to
That is so
discuss
true.
money, but be careful because I still believe in like all the evil eye and stuff like that. So it's like still, maybe the Filipino in me is still a bit like, okay.
No, I totally agree. So do you think, let's say, money is energy?
Yes, it's energy. It's
Okay, can
all
you
about
explain?
energy. Because it's really just an exchange of like, let's say when someone pays you, it's just an exchange for like the service you provided, right? Or like, if you pay something, it's just a lot of like, it's just a charge of a lot of emotional things. So it's just really just an exchange. Like, when we buy something, it's just an exchange for all like the effort that manufacturer, that company, that TikTok delivery guy put into like delivering the product to us. So it's really just an exchange of energy, to be on. Mga yoga like energy
Yeah.
exchange. So money is also really like that, I feel.
Do you think, let's say, if you invest in yourself and if you grow yourself, the more opportunities you can have with earning money? Let's say, I don't know.
Yeah. So I think that you have to grow. There's this thing called like a mental wallet. So you know what happens, like I'm sure you've heard like, oh, nanalo ng lotto, and then in 1 year ubos na the person, naubos niya na all
Yeah.
the earnings, right? So what happened was they received such a big amount of money in such a short amount of time that they weren't mentally and psychologically and emotionally equipped to handle like hundreds of millions of pesos. So for us, if we want to handle more money, let's say we want to level up, then we also have to level up our mind, our emotions. So how do we do that? We learn, we surround ourselves with, good people, and we just try to upskill and be at a place where you're like at peace, secure with yourself, so that the money would like come to you better, and that when it comes to you, you can actually keep it. Unlike, like those lotto winners, for example. So it's like you have to grow your mental wallet, like stretch it out so that more money could actually fit into your mental wallet. Because if your mental wallet is small,
Yeah.
even if someone gives you 1 billion pesos today, mauubos
Mawawala.
mo lang siya. So part of that is upskilling, learning, even mga meditating. So sometimes when you're like lazy to work out, go to Pilates or yoga or whatever, meet your trainer. If you're lazy, just think to yourself, you know what? This is part of my mental wallet. It won't just help me physically, but also it will help me with my money and my career. So I'll just do it. Like, don't be lazy. So sometimes may mga ganyang hack. Because like how you are with other aspects of your life, it greatly affects also like your money. So your health, your mental health, your physical health, all of that affects it.
I totally believe in that. I picked up this book once and it taught me, that was the first time I encountered this mental wallet thing, and it's about your money blueprint. I think he explains it that way. And can you explain to me again, let's say, what are the 3 steps to increase your your money
Mental.
wallet? What are the 3 steps to increase your money wallet?
Well, it could really be different for other people, right? It could be all different things. But for me, specifically, like I like reading books, or when I'm lazy, I just go on YouTube, find like a video that has a lot of views, and then I watch it. Just, learning something new all the time. And then number 2 is, I don't know if I'm just joking myself, but physical also. When I'm lazy to like work out and stuff like that, I tell myself, this will affect my money too. And also cleaning my surroundings. Like if
That
my
is true.
surroundings are dirty, like if my husband's car is madume with like tissue and stuff, I'm like, hey, we're gonna be poor, let's clean. So I don't know.
I love
I
that.
always make sure that the flow is good. And another way to increase your mental wallet is also spending for yourself, honestly. Because as long as it's not too excessive, right? And you're getting into debt because of spending on yourself. But, making yourself experience new things, maybe a new restaurant you want to try, or, a dress you've been really wanting.
Is it because,
it's
let's say, having
yeah.
fun also
Yes.
increases?
Yeah, there. So you have to enjoy it.
I totally love this conversation, but I can already hear my boyfriend be like, give me practical tips. You know naman guys, diba?
Yeah.
Like women believe in like energy, and I totally believe in that. Like when I invest in myself, when I work out, and if I just put my intention as like this is going to be good for me and my wealth. But for men who are like, okay, how do we make money? And I'm sure for some of the viewers, they're like, okay, but Mariel, I just want to make more money and I want to get more than my salary now. What can you advise me?
Well, okay, if you are working, right, and you want to have a higher salary, then ask for it. Basically, I had a client message me the other day, and she was like, "When can I ask my boss for a raise?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "When is your?" But usually, when you're a new employee on your 6-month mark, you kind of have like a feedback
Yes.
session. I was like, "When is that? Bring it up then." And she's like, "Oh shucks, it's done now, but I didn't bring it up." I'm like, "Girl, that's when you were supposed to bring
Okay.
it up." So ask for it. If it's not yet in the horizon for you, ask your manager, like, what would it take for you to get a raise? Not blatantly ask na parang, okay, I need a raise, give me a raise. But kind of be coming from a place of you want to learn or you want to grow. Parang, what do I have to do? What KPIs do I need to reach for me to get a salary raise? Or what do you want to see more out of me? So at least you have a structure of, okay, I'll do all this is that. So by the time it's like performance review season, then you should expect like a salary increase, right? So ask for it. I remember a friend said it the other day and I really liked it. Closed mouths don't get fed.
I was just about to say that. I was thinking like, what is this quote? Like,
yes.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, ask for it because a lot of like people I deal with, they wait for the performance review season, right? And then they expect that it's given to them. But sometimes it's not. Like, you should really ask. Or let's say you're looking for a new job and you get a job offer. Always negotiate. I saw like a statistic somewhere that women are less likely to negotiate a job offer. And if you don't, you're losing out on like a lot because it sets the tone for your salary now and all your salary raises in the future. So it's the best time to like negotiate at the beginning so that at least you set the tone for like how your career would be. And then how to make more money. I know a lot of people are like so over hustle culture, but if you're really not happy with how much you're earning at work and you're not yet at a place where you can resign, then really find another income source, whether it's like a side hustle or, a small business. But if you really want to earn more money, then you have to make more money. So how do you do that?
Okay, so what side hustles do you recommend?
It depends on like the skill of the person, but I think we're all like in a digital age now, which is great. I think when we were younger, wala naman masyadong online
Yeah,
work.
that is so true.
Right?
Like, I think our mga racket could be selling stuff.
Yes.
I don't know.
I
But
sold earrings on Facebook.
I love that. What did I do?
Kylie lip kits.
Oh, I love that. Ako, I went modeling. I just
Yes.
accepted jobs.
Yes.
Kahit mura lang yung pay.
And back then, the mga VTRs, right, were like, you're really gonna line up. Like, it's not like...
I lined up, girl.
Right,
Like, I
right.
was lining up. I was like taking a cab to the VTRs.
Yes, exactly.
Together with like 100 people.
Right. So yeah, the digital world, there's a lot. So if you're like a good creative person, maybe you could look into like some work for that if you're a good writer. If not, you could try sales. Sales is always like a good side hustle for a lot of people, depending on what you sell. I see a lot when I go on TikTok, a lot of people also want to be full-time content creators. So like, and then there's
I think this is not like just one way, but content creators can have like affiliate.
Yes, affiliate
links.
marketing.
There's so many.
Yes, so there's a lot, but you have to give it time and effort. Like, it's not going to be easy. Even a side hustle requires a lot of effort. But if you really want to earn more, then there are always ways.
That is so true. I read in this article, parang this, it's a great time to be alive now. And especially now is the time, especially with AI and stuff, we are able to build an information that allows us to build businesses with like one click
Yes,
with
yes.
AI. And do you think this is like good advice? I would advise this to like, let's say my brother, like learn AI
Yes,
because there's so much opportunity that we didn't have before. And
I would totally, like, I was talking to someone about it last night that apart from like the typical chat GPT,
there's
Claude,
so
whatever,
many.
there's so many cool ones na
I
pala.
love, have you heard of Claudebot?
Not
It
Claude, but the
mall.
Notebook LM.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll look into that. But
Okay. Is this the one that speaks? It's like a podcast.
I don't know. But it's owned by Google also. But it's like it can make it can make you a script. It can make you, I don't know. I'll look into it. But for the younger generation, it's a really exciting time also. I mean, it is scary for some because a lot of people feel they're gonna lose their jobs. I'm not an expert, so I don't want to get into that. But it's also a very exciting time for work and like where the future is headed. So meaning there's more ways to earn money, I think, and easier, I guess, because there's AI. So you could
Yeah.
come up with like stuff better, easier.
That is true. How important is earning more versus managing our money better?
I think it goes hand in hand, but I do encounter a lot of people that aren't necessarily earning like huge amounts, but since they manage their money really, really well, they get to save, they have investments. And then I also encounter people who are such high earners but don't have those. So it's really, if you earn a lot and then you're good at managing, then you already have the best combo.
Okay. What about, I keep on hearing this, but to grow our money, we have to invest. Let's say I earning 100K. How can I invest money? And like, do I need more? What's the minimum amount for me to invest money?
I think you should look at, okay, from that 100K, how much do you have left over, right, to invest? Like, let's say 100K, then your expenses are, I don't know, 60, 70,000. So if you have like 30,000 left over, then maybe you could use that 30,000, not necessarily the full amount, but you could if you wanted to. And then that's like the kind of money you play around with every month to invest in your chosen investment.
Okay, but what kind of investments are there, and what would you suggest is like the safest?
There are a lot, definitely. But in the Philippines, the more popular ones are like the time deposits or mutual funds or stocks. I think in the Philippines also a big, I think it's from the older generation, but a lot still say that real estate, parang having real estate is a sign of success in the
Yeah.
Filipino culture.
It builds
So
wealth and it's
uh-uh.
gonna.
So it depends. I meet some families that all they invest in are properties. I meet some families that all stocks. So it really depends on what your preference is. But I think the important part is whatever it is, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into and something that you can stick to. So it's not a one-time thing where, okay, I'll put 100K now and then forget about it na. You have to constantly add to it.
So what if I'm earning, let's say, around 50K a month, but I want to invest? What would you advise me on? Like, I want to invest. I want to grow my money. Pero hindi ko alam kung saan ko gustong
Okay.
ilagay.
First thing I'm gonna ask you, if you're my client, for example, is okay, great, you have 50,000 a month, but do you already have your emergency fund? Do you
Not
already have your
yet. Oh
insurances?
my God, not yet.
Have you paid off like your credit card debt? So before investing, I always ask my clients, okay, let's go to your foundations first, which is like your emergency fund, your insurances, pay off like any high interest debt. Just make sure those things are okay before you move on to investing. So that's the first thing I always say.
Okay,
So it's
I'm
boring.
in trouble. My trouble. Um, what is your opinion or advice on like credit cards? Do you think it's good to have them, or does it just accumulate debt?
For me, it depends if the person is disciplined enough. So for me, I personally love it because I honestly don't bring cash around anymore.
Me too.
Like,
I just use like
yeah, Gcash
Gcash.
or my card. And my husband hates it because when we pay for parking, like I have no
Nako, that's so
money.
true. You're like, I cannot
Yeah.
find.
So I love it because it's a tool that you can use and you can maximize, like get free lounge access or you get cash back depending on like what card you use, right? But if you know yourself and you know that you're not disciplined, maybe best to kind of limit yourself. Because I do deal with like clients, for example, where they have multiple cards and they max it out and then they get into debt. And it gets like they get into a never ending cycle. So if you're kind of in that spectrum, maybe limit yourself. Maybe just have one card at max or two max. And yeah, just stop using it also if you're stuck in debt already.
Okay. What is the fastest way for someone in a regular job to increase their income?
Yeah, you negotiate for a
Yeah.
higher salary and side hustle.
Small side hustles.
Yeah.
Let's say someone is a fresh grad. What should they prioritize on? Their savings, essentials, or spending? What would you advise, let's say, a fresh grad?
Fresh grad with a job na.
Yeah, with a job. Mga first job.
Wala, boring talaga. Emergency fund mo.
Okay.
It's really that. That's the first thing.
So your emergency fund is what? Like how much of your salary?
No, it should be 3 to 6 months of your basic expenses. So if you're fresh grad and wala ka namang expenses, let's say 10K lang, and your emergency fund should be 30K
Okay, gets.
or 60K. So there. So
Okay.
that's the first thing. And then the next thing I tell them is if your employer gives you health insurance, great. But if you don't have one, get one. And then what else? Yeah, that your emergency fund and then your basic insurances while you're young because it's cheaper that way. And then afterwards, mag-invest ka na.
Okay, what about renting versus buying? What do you advise your clients? Is renting a waste of money, or how come I hear like different opinions na buying a house will make you wealthier, investing in property is the number one way to get rich?
I think because during our parents' time, it was so much easier to buy property. The prices weren't as crazy. And I was talking to people like not from the Philippines, and even they're a little bit concerned why our property prices are so high.
That
in
is
the
so
right?
true.
So it's not the same anymore.
The houses in like Dasma and
Yeah.
Forbes are
Parang Beverly Hills prices na.
like, it's a castle
Right.
in Europe. Like, castle na siya.
Oo
And
nga.
then dito, it's like a house, a two-story
Exactly.
house. Doon mansion na.
Right? It's like, 100,
Or even
200 million na to.
Or even the units in BGC,
Yes.
insane.
Insane.
You can buy a house in LA.
Exactly.
Diba?
So it's not the same anymore. So if your priority is not home ownership and you want more flexibility,
So you would advise
renting. Because parang there are some things in your life that doesn't always have to grow in value, If you rent, it serves its purpose. For one whole month, it gives you a roof over your head. And what's great with the renting is that if something like gets broken, your landlord will pay for it. So it's
Yeah.
like you actually have less expenses. I was talking to another podcaster, but she was saying that she really regrets like buying all these other properties before because she couldn't really flip it as easy as she thought she
Yeah,
would,
exactly.
or rent it out even. And you get stuck with like a long mortgage and a lot of like other fees. So I'm not saying real estate is bad. Obviously, like I still like it. It's still, a good asset to have. But make sure before you get into it, don't get Especially for like, I guess maybe some listeners who found like easy down payment schemes and mga ganyan. Parang
Yeah.
it's, you get tempted because parang, oh, I want to be a homeowner.
Exactly. And
But
they're like,
yeah.
magkano lang per month?
But make sure that you ask your broker, okay, sure, this is for the down payment, but when we're closing na after the DP, how much do I have to pay for closing fees? To even put up Meralco, you have to pay like a few thousands, and the property tax, all of that takes into play that the broker won't tell you necessarily in the beginning. So make sure you just know what you're getting yourself into. It's not bad, but more of be aware lang. Para lang once it's ready, your money's ready also.
Okay, so when does renting make sense, and when does it become a disadvantage?
I think renting, for me, it's okay talaga. As long as it's within a range of, let's say, 20 to 30%, 25 to 35% of your monthly net take home pay. So for the person earning 50,000, magkano ba yung 25%?
Yeah.
So just make sure your rent doesn't exceed 25 to 35% of your net take home pay. If it's any more than that, there's this thing called parang house poor, because parang all your money na lang goes to like your rent or your home loan.
So one of my first, I don't know if it's like a financial advice book, but like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, would you consider that a financial advice book? But like he said to pour money into assets. And is a house an asset? This is like
Depends.
stupid girl questions.
What they say naman is your family home or where you live isn't, unless it's like in a super, like you live in like a super area that, you know, the value keeps increasing, but it's not really, like he says that like your family home isn't, or siya ba nagsabi nun, but it's not an asset, it's kind of
A liability.
yeah, or like an expense. Actually funny now, si Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's all about gold now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all about,
Yeah.
nag-iba na rin siya ng views. So yeah, I think it's important to also just assess. Nawala na ako. I don't know where we were. Okay.
Okay, wait. Let's go. Wait. Okay, what about people who invest in Bitcoin? Do you advise against it, or are you for it? I just want to get.
So when the hype was really strong in like 2016, 2017, so me and my husband, then boyfriend, we were really into it. Well, more of him. Me lang, just like the Bitcoin or like a bit of the Ethereum, yung mga stable coins. But honestly, it's just too complicated for me to understand and really get into. But I do know a lot of like successful people in that space that yun talaga yung main investments nila. And they're doing pretty well. So I think you just have to understand it. But it's not for like beginners who have no background in like investing or anything like that. Definitely not. But if you're really good at it, it could be good. But
I feel
yeah.
like gone were the days where it was like, so I feel like if you invested it in 2016, 2017, okay, you made money.
Yeah.
But now it's a little bit
yeah.
hard. I feel like you should have invested earlier, no?
Right. Like my mom put like, let's say a few thousands in like Bitcoin, but then she doesn't know how to do it. So I put it in like a coins.ph.
Yeah.
And then like every time she sees the news on Bitcoin, now, how much is it? How much is it? I'm like, ma, it's not moving, or like just let it go. It won't. I don't know when the
hold,
big
guys, hold.
I don't know when you'll change your life because of this. I'm sorry. Like, so yun. So you just have to understand it and avoid get rich quick schemes, because the crypto world had a lot of that. There was a coin that I thought, oh my god, I'm gonna be a billionaire.
There's so many coins. Like there's
I really
so many
thought
now.
I was gonna be a billionaire.
There's so
And
many
then
now,
wala.
like Dodge and I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
there's like a lot.
diba?
So yeah, just enter with eyes wide open.
Caution.
Yeah.
What are some habits that you think are silently draining people's money without them noticing?
It's just the
Like, what is a
daily-
bad financial habit?
It's just the daily leaks that happen.
Is
and
it like the Starbucks? Is it
no
the
naman.
TikTok purchases?
Could be that, but
is
all
it like
together.
the 7-Eleven
or like not being aware of these leaks. Like for example, I have a card that was charging me every month like a certain thing that I didn't even know what it was. It was like 400, but maybe something like that. But then it was charging me for over a year now. I was like, wait, ano ba to? And then when I looked, it was like an automatic insurance that my card put me on. But when I called the man, you could cut it pala.
I think
Stuff like that.
people need to educate about the. You could call your bank and say like, "Hey, this is like a bad, not good transaction." Like callback. I'm so bad, but like in the US, this is like such a big thing.
Yeah.
Chargebacks.
Yeah. So you could do that and cancel it and stuff like that. And then if you think about it, there are certain things that you just pay for and you're not really aware of. So that's one extreme case. But it could also be your own choices on a day-to-day basis. So I think these are the silent leaks kasi that really add up. Or even like, okay, uso na now the mga buy now, pay later. All the banks are offering it. All the stores are offering it. Even Zara has it. Can I not say a brand? Anyway, everyone has it. So, okay, if I buy a 5K worth of clothes and I can spread it in 3 months, 0 interest, easy. Like, it would be good. But imagine if you have like 10 of those sabay-sabay. It could be like, oh my God, it blew up. So those small decisions really affect also. And those are like what kind of drains someone's money on a daily basis.
Okay. So you're saying it's more about seeing what you have and then just like allocating instead of allocating your finance.
Yeah. And like just being very aware. Parang you just want to make sure you know what's going on.
Okay.
So even if you have like an accountant or anything, just make sure you also understand the ins and outs.
Okay, let's talk about, let's say, relationships.
Okay.
In relationships, sometimes money can be one of the biggest causes of conflicts in relationships. Do you agree with that or not? And what causes it?
Yes, I agree with that because it's very emotionally charged. And money in a couple kind of represents security, right? Like if we're okay financially, then our relationship, our family is secure. So when money isn't secure, when you fight about it, it causes that stability or security to be shaky, right? So parang it becomes a problem between the two of you. And also power, I guess, because there are some relationships where only one individual handles the money. So parang he or she has more of the power. And depending on how the other partner would take it, sometimes it's not that great. Especially if it were like, I also see like women, let's say out earning their partner, for example, and the partner doesn't take it well also, so he resorts to like cheating. I don't know. Just to,
that is so
it
true.
Happens.
It's about the power dynamics also, and I feel like money gives the other person power. And when you enter into a relationship, and then let's say the guy is higher, and then the girl is lower, and then when that shift happens, something happens with like the guy's ego.
Yeah,
diba?
It happens. That's why they have like mga midlife or midlife crisis because I don't know.
Well, what can you tell these women, let's say now, who are out earning their spouses?
I think own it.
Love that.
Well, just to own it, because I think the natural reaction for Pinay women would be to kind of feel a bit guilty for out earning their partner.
And then they hide it. They have to make them.
Yeah, and if your partner knows and it's not a secret, just own it. If your partner
is secure enough.
Yeah, just own it. That's why
and confident enough.
You have to choose a partner that is okay with that. Because some really won't be. And I get it, you know. It's an ego-driven thing. Some people really won't accept that kind of dynamic. So before getting into like marriage especially, have that talk already. Have that money talk and know what your values are, know what you're bringing to the table. If you're bringing in problems or even debt, you have to talk about it. And what the expectations are. So at least everything's set in the beginning so there are no surprises once you're married already.
I'm curious because like I'm already in that age where I kind of want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
How does one bring up the conversation and like, so what is gonna happen? Do you like who's gonna pay for what?
Right.
In my relationship though, like he pays for mostly everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then what I keep, I pay for my stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's mostly him taking care of the whole relationship.
Okay. So, 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 I think to make it natural, because I have clients who ask me that, like, how do I bring it up without sounding weird?
Yeah, without being like,
So, like, wait for
don't
like a,
ask for money. 'Cause
yeah,
it's not an attractive thing to do
right.
too.
It could be before a milestone. Let's say before you, like, let's say you move in before getting married. So before moving in, that's a perfect time to start. You could enter by saying, okay, let's just talk about how we're going to split, like, what you expect when we move in. Will I pay for the internet? You pay for... So you start from there
Okay.
and then go deeper. Pero sarili mo nang diskarte yun, how you're gonna go deeper in the conversation. But that's a good natural way. If not moving in, let's say planning for a wedding, that's a good segue. You talk about the wedding budget first, and then from there, go deeper. So those are
Okay, I
yeah.
like that. So we have to talk about the wedding budget first. Because what if I start with a vision board?
Pwede. Parang nakakatakot. Parang, whoa.
This is what I want. Ito yung gusto ko.
Yeah.
And then like what? Then you budget from
Yeah,
there.
ganyan. So, ease it in, depending on your partner.
I have a question. Who pays for the wedding? Is it the wife or the husband?
Well, here in the Philippines, they say still the guy, in the States, it's like the women's family who pays for it. Here, the guy daw, but then we're like in the modern times now. So it's like really depends per
Okay.
couple. Could be 50-50, could be the girl more. Iba na talaga yung time eh.
That is true. And depends dun sa financial capacity
Yes.
ng couple.
Yeah.
What financial conversations should couples have before marriage?
I think it's important to know like how your partner grew up around money before he met you. Like what were his parents like? Kasi those will give you clues on, okay, then he might probably be like this also with our own family. Like his dad or like his mom. And then also know like how much he earns, what he spends on, what his habits are, if he has any assets, and also any liabilities. Parang nag-financial planning kayo together. But yeah, you just have to know.
Checklist ako. What is
And
that?
what his goals are.
No, that is so important.
Because you're gonna be his number one supporter. So at least you know each other's goals so that you could, help each other and see where, you pull back a little bit and, push him more. So that's important to do.
I feel like money is such a big part in a relationship, but it's not really spoken about. No, like, yeah, because it handles the dynamic also in the
Yes.
relationship.
Yeah. So I saw that a lot at my own wedding. When I thought I was expected to create like the mga spreadsheet and stuff. But I was so surprised he did everything. And then I was like, okay. So parang I saw na how it was gonna work out after. Because we didn't live together naman before. So yeah, big milestones are good practice. But definitely, what am I saying? Before you say yes, at least have that talk first.
Okay. Okay, moving on to business. What is one big financial mistake you see business owners make early on?
I think, well, I don't know with like big corporations, but like with small business owners, and I do get a lot of clients like this, they mix their personal money with their
Oh.
business money.
Okay.
And then biglang it just gets too tangled already because they've been doing it for so long. So it's hard to kind of separate and, organize. So I think as early as possible, even before you start a new business, separate it na. Like at least it's not hard later on.
So how many bank accounts do you suggest if I were to start, let's say, a business? How many bank accounts should I have? Or even personal, how many bank accounts should you have?
Really depends. So there are people that literally have bank accounts for each category. So it's like one for my savings, but just my emergency fund, another one for my different travel savings, for example, one for everyday spending, and then one for like another thing. So some people are very organized that way, and I prefer it that way so that you're not tempted to touch on like each account, let's say,
Okay.
or dip into another account. For businesses, I don't know honestly how many you're supposed to have in a business, but for me, for example, it's just one account.
Just separate
Yeah,
the
just separate it from my
personal and the
personal.
business.
Yeah, like really separated. So I was talking to a friend recently. She runs her business, and I was like, "So do you pay yourself?" And she's running a successful business. She's like, "Do you pay yourself?" No. I was like, "Okay, but like, what did you use to buy your bag, for example?" And she's like, "Well, I just get from the business account." And I'm like, and she has like 20 employees already, and I'm like, "Huh?" I was like, "Girl, separate it na." And then she's like, "Yeah, I know, I know."
But technically, she can charge it
Yes.
to the business,
Yes.
right? Because she's
It's
like,
hers.
it's my expense.
Yeah.
I'm I don't know, like the face of the company.
Yeah. But it could be like, oh my God, next thing you know, may 100 employees na siya. And then it can't be anymore. Like, you have to separate it as early as possible.
That is true. This one, a little bit technical, but why do so many profitable businesses still struggle with cash flow?
I think it's because you base it on, I guess, how much like sales you've made. For example, let's say, oh, this month I made 100,000 in sales, but actually, baka those sales won't be paid in like another 30 to 90 days, depending on your client, right? But then during those 30 to 90 days, you have to pay for your staff, you have to pay for your operational expenses, your rent, or whatever, right? So you have stuff to pay, but the money basically that was a sale, it hasn't really come in yet. So parang your cash flow gets a little bit gulo. So I think even if as a business you're earning, you make sales, you're profitable, if it doesn't, I guess, translate to your cash flow, then that's, I guess, where the problem is.
Is it a skill someone has to learn? Like, I think it's a difficult skill to learn. Like,
Yes, I think it's a difficult skill to learn. Because I feel like, especially like for small business owners, parang you're happy na, oh my God, I made a sale.
yeah, and then you're like, let's say you made 100K.
Yeah.
And then you start spending 100K.
Yes,
I feel like
yes.
that's a common mistake.
It's a common thing. So I guess as you expand as a business, make sure also you have trusted people, maybe like a trusted accountant or a bookkeeper to help you like, parang keep you in check. But it has to be trusted.
That's true.
Yeah.
How should business owners think differently about money compared to employees?
I think as business owners, it shouldn't just be about making because if you're like a hustler or like a side hustle racket, you're always just thinking about the earnings, right?
Yeah.
The earnings, like, okay, if I earn, I'm good, business is good. But I think once you shift from being like a racketeer to like a full-fledged business owner, then you really have to think about the cash flow and how the money comes in and what's allotted for what. Like, for if you have like operational costs, if you have like mga employees to pay. So it's not so much about making money, but also about making sure it's well allocated into like, avenues of your business.
Do you think women should talk about money more?
I think so. I think we should. Just because, as you mentioned also, like, it does create space for you to discuss what you're going through with, and then like you could compare with other women. Maybe they're going through the same thing. You could help each other out. And parang sometimes for you, let's say you have certain bits and pieces of knowledge about, let's say, your business, for example, that you feel is so basic. But if you share it with like a friend, she might not know about it. So parang you don't know that maybe the basic information you have is actually like really like helpful for other people. So it's good to talk more about our careers, not just money, I feel, but also careers. I guess like all my friends now, we all went different paths. Some are doctors, some are business owners, a lot are in corporate. And when you hear a bit about of their struggles and their wins, in some way you could also apply it to yourself. So I think we should have more productive conversations apart from chismis.
Love that.
I mean, chismis is fun,
I mean,
but then,
chismis is fun, to
but
be honest.
you know,
But
we need to be productive sometimes, diba?
if someone had enough money, what should they really focus on in life?
What your well, someone told me that because he already had enough money na daw, but really what you're supposed to focus on is how you're gonna add value like to the world. I know it's like a Miss Universe answer, but then that's what he said. And I actually, when I really thought about it, it's never gonna be enough. Even like we see all these billionaires everywhere, they're still acquiring businesses, assets left and
Yeah.
right. So I think after that, you should just find like your purpose, maybe, or your advocacy. I don't know, but something that you feel could add value to this world that's not necessarily about money making. Because at least with their, when you're at that point, I guess, I don't know, I'm not there yet, but maybe you'll just, be compelled to keep giving and doing just because it's something that you feel is meaningful rather than just chasing for money. I feel, I don't know, I'll tell you when I get
Yeah,
there.
let me know like what matters the most.
Oo nga. But also enjoying na rin din your life at that point, because a lot of people, right, they wait till retirement and
Yeah.
everything and they forget to enjoy their life. So also just really, enjoy life. It's so short.
One of the last questions, what does a rich life actually look for? What does a rich life actually look like for you?
Just a peaceful life with my home, my dream home, for example. And just at peace and healthy, to be honest. More and more, I don't want to scare our viewers, but I hear like so many young people getting sick, and even dying early. And it's like, wow, what's happening? So parang for me, a rich life is where you have love, good people around you, good health, and just a stable financial life. I don't have to be Elon Musk or whatever, but just
Yeah.
happy and healthy with love.
No, I
Yeah.
I totally agree. And let's say also traveling the world, one thing I realized is that, let's say, because I'm with a European, like Europeans know how to have fun. And maybe because we are where we are we're so like stuck in this like work life, and then we reward ourselves kapag kaya na.
Yeah.
But them, they kind of like just live life to the fullest.
I know.
And it seems like they don't have any problem, but like La Vita, whatever,
Yeah.
Bella. But I guess I've learned with one, my partner is to enjoy life. And you don't need... Nawala din ako.
You don't need too much.
You don't need too much.
Yeah, to be really happy. There's like these studies nga that say at a certain threshold, I forget the number, but at a certain, kunyari, it's like, let's say, I don't know the threshold, but it wasn't that high. But anyway, at a certain threshold of earning, the happiness meter of people don't really increase anymore.
But also look at the Nepo babies. They're usually the ones in like trouble. Do you think? Or is it just like chismis?
What do you mean? That they're not happy?
Yeah, diba? Like,
yeah, because I guess because they're chasing something else. Maybe like validation or like, I don't know, kasi diba they're the ones that were canceled were, yung mga nag-post about their stuff. So, I don't know, baka it wasn't really happiness for them. It was something else.
that is true.
But yeah, there's a number Then after that number, parang,
It like fades.
it doesn't move na the meter.
But
You're
to
happy na.
I totally get it. But also like, how you only need a certain amount of money to be happy.
Yeah.
Or like to be okay, unless you kind of want to go the next level, which is like ultra
Yeah.
luxury. And then you're like, okay. But when you reach that level, you're like, oh, there's someone spending a little bit more
Exactly.
than me. And then when you reach that level, you're like, oh,
Yeah. It's
okay,
never gonna
he has
end.
like tigers or something. Or he has like
Yeah.
a super yacht. And you're like, it's never gonna end.
never gonna end.
So,
There's
like,
always gonna be someone richer than you.
that is true.
So parang just compete with yourself because it's gonna be so tiring. It's good for inspiration. But then it gets to a point where you can't compete na kasi parang, baka mamatay
cannot
na
compete,
ako.
girl.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I totally get you. Okay. If you were to give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Just start. Because my younger self thought I had so much time to do stuff. But really, when I got to my mid-30s, oh my God, I'm gonna be 50 soon. Like, what? I know.
Malayo pa.
I know.
But like, we're the same age.
I know, but it's like, I don't know, once you hit your 30s, it becomes so fast as opposed to when we were like 20s. So time is so fast. So just take action and don't delay things. Like if you have an opportunity to do something, don't delay it na.
What would you do differently? Like, let's say money-wise, or would you have, let's say, taken a job? Would you have...
Money wise, my thing always has been I never lived abroad. So
I
parang
get
maybe
that.
I should have
I get
tried
that.
to work
I get that.
abroad while I was single. So that's something. So if you're thinking of doing something, especially while you're not tied down yet, I feel just do it. Because time is fast.
No, I totally get that. And last, what kind of mindset do people need to develop if they really want to be good at money?
That they can do it. You have to tell yourself that you can do it and that it's doable. And it's actually simpler than what it is. Parang I think a lot of us overcomplicate a lot of things, including money. But if you look at the bare basics, talagang it's just simple things, but you have to keep doing. I always say like a diet, right? They always say the same thing: eat less and move more or something. So with money, it's the same thing. It's just basic things, but you have to do it consistently. So keep it simple. Yeah, just keep it simple.
Nice. And what money belief do people need to let go of?
I think in the Philippines, that financial success looks the same for everyone because it really won't be the same. For some, it could be owning that dream home. That's like that's a favorite Filipino thing, right? But for others, it could just be sending my kids to like a good university or being able to retire back in my province. So stuff like that. It could really mean different things for everyone. So stop like comparing yourself to like your friend or your peer because it's really different for all of us.
That is true. And what is one first easy step someone can take today to improve their money mindset?
One easy step is look at your finances. Like for the viewer, when was the last time you really sat down and just looked at your bank accounts, your pay slip, your income tax return? I don't know, but when was the last time you really just gave yourself 30 minutes? I think that's a good but powerful thing to do. Maybe during the weekend, just sit down and tally everything up.
That's true. I kind of avoid it because I'm like, but
Right?
I know how much I know, and I kind of know how much I have, but like I don't want to like deep dive.
Right.
And as long as my bank account stays above this level, then I'm fine. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I manage my finances.
But it's like for sure you have an accountant, right? And for sure they just send you all these forms and whatever. Sometimes if you're really bored, just look at the forms and just try to understand like what's happening there. Even with like employees, they have these forms. Just understand so at least you know what's going on. And that's really powerful if you're aware of your money. Like parang dapat best friends kayo. Like I know you. Parang yeah.
I like that. I learned a lot. Thank you. I'll throw you a money statement and tell me if you agree, disagree, or it depends.
Okay.
And in one line, and why.
Okay.
If you love your job, money will follow.
It depends.
Why?
Because there are some industries or careers that even if you super love it, they really can't pay you.
That is true. Like,
I don't know.
okay, what was that there? That was good. Okay, renting is a waste of money.
No, because it's not a waste because you use it. You have a roof over your head.
You need a huge income to start investing.
No. So even on like Gcash, you can invest for like 500 pesos. So yeah.
I love Gcash. Can they sponsor us? Chos. Not a joke. Cut that out. Okay. Credit cards are bad.
It depends. If you don't have the discipline, then it could be a tool for bad decisions.
Women are naturally bad with money.
No, we just tell ourselves that we're not good at money, but it can be learned.
Oh, what is the biggest misconception about money management?
That it's complicated. It actually are just repetitive, simple tasks that you have to stick to.
And what is the worst money advice you hear online?
Get rich quick schemes.
What is one unpopular money opinion you have that more Filipinos need to hear?
You have to spend money to get comfortable with it.
Ooh, interesting.
Because it's all about cutting, right?
Yeah. Okay. Next, and our last segment is the dilemma segment. So now we're moving on to the dilemma segment. These are real questions from listeners. And this is from Nina, 27. She's from Makati. And she goes, and I want you to give your advice to them.
Okay.
So Nina goes, I'm 27. I have a corporate job in Makati and I give most of my salary to my family because I am the breadwinner. I feel so guilty wanting to save for myself and invest, but it feels selfish. Part of me really wants to build my own emergency fund, start investing for my future, and maybe even save up for a condo or small business someday. But every time I hold back from giving everything to my family, I feel like a bad daughter. How do I set boundaries and actually save for my goals while still honoring my parents for our utang na loob? Mariel, what would you say to her and what would you advise her?
So Nina, kind of check in your budget. How much are you legitimately comfortable to like share with your family? If that really is part of your responsibility, then wala eh. Then it's part of yours. I'm like, we can't do anything about that. But have a number that you could set that is basically like your limit. Na okay, kunyari, 3K a month, that's it. Anything beyond that, you won't because you won't have parang you won't have budget na for like saving for your goals, right? But and also you have to communicate that with your family that this is what I can give only up to this certain amount. Anything beyond that I can't anymore. And just really set your boundaries. Yeah. Have a budget and really like tell them.
Yeah. I think that's good advice.
And if like your family can't accept that and they're very toxic about it, then maybe that's a different problem already. Maybe you should eject yourself from that situation. But if they're loving, they should be able to accept.
That is true. And our last and final dilemma, this is from Sophia, 32. She says, I'm 32, I run a small cafe. My sales are good, but I literally have no savings or profit left over at the end of the month. Everything just seems to go to rent, payroll, supplies, and random expenses. And I honestly can't tell if I'm underpricing, overspending, or both. I can't read my own numbers or even understand my profit and loss. But I really want to start paying myself properly and saving for expansion or a second branch one day. Where do I start?
Oh,
This is so common, right? Or like,
yeah, it's
yeah.
common. I have clients who go through that. I think, well, number one, for sure, well, she's already in the rut, right? What do you do? But then really try to understand, I guess, what's going wrong. Like, are your materials or your raw materials overpriced or your operational costs overpriced, and see, I guess, where you can lessen your expenses with your business. And also look at, maybe focus on which products or which menu items sell the most, and maybe you just focus on those and lessen your menu items, because yeah, the more ingredients you have, right, the more expenses you have. So just trying to cut your expenses and see where you could optimize. And then also make sure that you also have like for a business also, you also should have kind of an emergency fund too. Just make sure that you have enough saved up as a business to like survive in case sales aren't so good. And then when you can, also make sure that you budget even just a small amount, even if it's just like, I don't know how much, but try to like pay yourself also when you can. But then when you're really at the end of it and it's so hard for her, also be honest, like, is it still worth pursuing or not? And maybe get a second opinion from like more experienced business owners.
That is true. Yeah. Actually, I thank you so much. I learned a lot from this. I hope it was not too long for you, but I learned a lot from this. I feel like I have a lot to do with like, I have a lot to learn with managing my finances. I also like the fact that you teach about money is not just about the money, but it's also about expanding your money wallet and the mindset that you have, the dynamics in it can affect with relationships. So yeah, thank you so much
Thanks,
for this episode. I
Kylie.
feel like our viewers can really learn a lot and can relate to this topic. And before we wrap, is there anything you want to talk about or plug?
Yeah, just follow me on @simplyfinanceph on Instagram. So I post tips there, some videos to help you out, and then you could also get my one-on-one services if you need like a consultation.
And her Instagram page is so cute, guys. Please follow
Thank
Simply
you.
Finance. And before we close, I want to ask if our listeners could remember only one thing about this episode about money, what would it be?
That your money it doesn't equate your self-worth, I think. I think
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. We put so much pressure on ourselves and we equate ourselves to our career, our money, but really we shouldn't. It doesn't equate our self-worth.
That's amazing. And that's also beautiful. And yeah, that was it, guys. Thank you so much to listening to our money episode with Marielle. I think it's been a wonderful conversation, and I hope you had fun. And I hope you guys learned a lot from this episode. And yeah, if there's any other more finance or money questions you want to ask, if you want another episode on money, was I able to ask your questions on money, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to follow Marielle on Simply Finance and Marielle on her Instagram
Thank you.
page and channels. Thank you, guys.